Hello everyone, this is East Coast Economic Update for October the 28th, 2009. Just want to touch two avenues that I think everyone should be keeping a close eye on. First, as we know, on the 26th of October, midnight Eastern Daylight Savings Time, Catmark filed for bankruptcy. They are the largest real estate lender for commercial real estate in the United States, maybe everywhere, but at least in the United States. So as Gerald Celente had mentioned, that the next big shoe to fall off was or is going to be commercial real estate. But the thing that no one or a few of you know is that Catmark is a large arm of the millipede that is GMAC. Which brings me to this Wall Street Journal article in the morning. This morning, GMC asks for fresh lifeline. They're asking for more cash, but they don't say why. Maybe it's because one of their arms is bleeding. It's exactly that. So between CIT, which supplies all retailers that have lines of credit, I am not one of those, but most retailers that are below Walmart, which is almost 99% of all retailers, if they collapse, and right now they're trading around $1 and change, or $1.30 or 40 cents change, and they're basically going to collapse. If these guys collapse and GMAC is not given that lifeline, which right now they're pretty much, the United States government is out of cash. There's going to be another bailout coming. You know it. You can set your watch to it. Which brings me to the second point. Now, that is critical. These two items, GMAC, which is basically Catmark, and CIT, now you have the, with CIT you have the retailers unable to get lines of credit, and I can speak from personal experience. I've spoken to a number of people who have asked for lines of credit. They have good credit. They are not getting it, and this is in New York City. So guys like CIT, which give lines of credit based on many, amongst other things, the idea that certain items are paid for within 30, 60, or 90 days, and that's how they've been able to allow companies to grow that are not megalithic companies like Walmart. So you have the retailer getting screwed, and now the arm that basically controls all the malls and all the small shopping centers, their line of credits are collapsing because there's been defaults. So obviously the United States government, in its infinite wisdom, is bailing out banks that have really no direct interface with the real economy, the Main Street economy, and the ones that are, such as the retailers, Joe Blow, Metalworks, and so forth and so on, that use CIT amongst other organizations. Any small retail business, whether you're selling car parts, whether you're selling sneakers, anything, needs CIT to rotate and keep them afloat through the lean months, which usually are between January to February. So far, it's been for the last 2 years. So that you need those guys. And without them, retailers go out of business and collapse the commercial real estate business. So there you go. The two hands are being held, and those two hands are not being paid off. In fact, they're too small to save. You are too small to save, and that's what the issue is. So the other thing, which all this stuff is going to be in my info box, is that the Copenhagen signature the signing is going to happen in December. If you don't know about that, I would strongly suggest you read about it. Basically, under this Copenhagen Agreement, the President of the United States, which has broken so far not only all his promises, but a number of the rights of the amendments of the United States Constitution. One of them being when he sat as head of the Security Council, was basically sitting both as president and leader of the world, and that's against the nobility clause, which I believe is it's under either the 6th or the 7th Amendment. But anyway, I'll have it as a bubble over here. Anyway, but this is it. December is going to pretty much lockstep. I mean, it's very easy for the President of the United States now, since he has declared a state of emergency and is exercising PD 51, which allows him to have basically dictatorial powers. If he signs this Copenhagen Agreement during this PD 51 emergency, he doesn't need Congress, because Congress is being usurped by PD 51. So in other words, he's going to sign a treaty without the Congress, that's you and me, folks, basically our representatives, signing and ratifying it. He can circumvent that because he basically suspended the Congress for 6 months from this point forward. So there you go. So just be aware of that. Now, I just want to finish with just the thought here. You know, this is the beginning of what is probably going to be culminating by 2012, and I'm not talking about the Mayan, I'm just talking about logic. By 2012, we're going to have another election, if there's not one before that time. I want to speak to the 9/11 truthers and basically the libertarians. One of the things that have been bothering me is the fact that we're all trying to find a third-party candidate. For us as libertarians and truthers and birthers and whatever else mainstream media calls us, trying to get a presidential candidate on the ticket is the equivalent, as far as I'm concerned, trying to wipe out prostitution by being the chief whore. We've learned from experience, history over history over history, that every time we get somebody in the White House, or somebody is in the White House and we're backing them up, no matter what your belief system is, whether you're a socialist, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a libertarian, whether you're a conservative, they end up doing whatever the powers that be wish. I think that most of us need to start to claw back the powers that the states had from the federal government. Really start to exercise the 10th Amendment of the Constitution and have states' rights. My argument is that philosophically, I think we're starting to organize, all of us are starting to organize, either loosely or formally, but putting Ron Paul or Rand Paul into the White House is not going to solve the problem. It is just going to make people eliminating prostitution by creating a chief whore. And being a whore, you're not going to stop prostitution because you're part of the system. So my argument is that we need to start voting in our local elections, whether it's our county or village or whatever. We need to start to take back that power by having people in local elections and local positions and standing their ground. If I and a large community of people are running the state of New York through a power base and controlling what's happening in our backyard, we're not going to, our representation is not going to be filtered through lobbyists if you're right there at the county steps saying this is ours, we want this. We want our new roads. We want an industrial plant. We want whatever we need to create an economy here for me in the state of New York and you in the state of Alabama, Montana, whatever. Every one of these states have to be city-states, as in the same concept of the original democracy, which was in Greece. They had city-states. They had direct democracy. Direct democracy is the only way it can work. If we get too big where we're focused on a nationalized system, well, our general benefits for it are going to dissipate. And what do I mean by that? Well, quite quickly, because I'm running out of time, is that anytime anything gets larger, so large, more than 500 or 600 people, it starts to become corrupt. So what I'm suggesting is that we should stop looking at a national ticket. We should start looking at a local ticket. Start in our backyard and stop at our borders and our states and coordinate that way. So that's just a suggestion. I look forward to your comments and your video responses. But that's pretty much where I'm leaning towards. I'm going to be concerned about my local practice. Peace, guys.